So let me tell you why I am here. I'm here because I believe in transformation and the power of technology to accelerate positive change. And I believe that you are here because you care that people are suffering. And also, I think you suspect that some of the same tools that we will use to stabilize those in need will be the same tools that will help us understand more about what it means to be human. I think I'm pushing the right button. Okay. All right. So who can tell me what this is? Does anyone know what this is? That's right. It's a barn raising. So if you lived in the US in the 17th or 18th century and you needed a barn built, you put out a call and the community would come together and they would build the barn because it's impossible for one person to build a barn alone. And people would come, I think, because they realized that by helping one another, they were helping themselves. But the thing that I find so interesting about barn raisings is just how fast they were. So today, the Amish can do in one day what it can take a group of independent contractors a month to do. The speed is so interesting. And so a barn raising happens when a community comes together and decides to be in the same place at the same time to accomplish the same goal. A goal perhaps like using technology to help eradicate unnecessary human suffering. So why is this important? We are the most medicated group of Americans in history. We now know that mind wandering is stimulated by distraction and is correlated with unhappiness, and we are more distracted than we have ever been. Modern life is stressful, entrepreneurship is stressful, poverty is stressful, and even the road from low-income status to high-income status is stressful. There is an epidemic going on today. So much so that the World Health Organization has estimated that by 2030, depression alone will be the leading disease burden in the entire world. Anxiety, depression, and stress are health challenges. As the brain goes, so goes the body. And these are the invisible triggers of illness. Together, they add up to about $500 billion in negative impact in the US alone. There is no question that there is a need for technology to support mental and emotional well-being. And technology is the only tool that can scale to reach everyone. And I think we all recognize that there is some tool that's needed to manage stress. This is reflected in the mindfulness trend. But mindfulness is only one part of a much broader solution, which is transformation. Transformation is the way that we come to terms with who and what we are. It's the way that we break free of trauma, heartbreak, loss, betrayal, death, fear, and even the very uncertainty of human existence. It's the way that we find true happiness. It's the way that we find our true selves. It's how we learn to be here, to be completely present. At its highest point, it's about discovering that the self isn't necessarily what we thought it was anyway. And so it becomes no longer necessary to defend it violently or otherwise. Because when we become all of these things, we have the highest probability of acting skillfully. Because when the brain is hijacked, we are unable to solve the world's biggest problems. All you have to do is to look at the trauma and tragedy of the world today in order to see this. This is a Syrian refugee camp. and this photo that moved the entire world. When I see this, I become even more committed to transformative technology because there is a need, a demand, if you will, for something to bring peace to the minds of men. Collectively, we face challenges that we can only solve and opportunities that we can only capture by facing disruption calmly, by acting collaboratively, accessing our creativity. And I would say, on a personal level, I think we all have experienced some kind of trauma or tragedy in our lives. I certainly have. We all know how it feels. It's a part of what drives my mission. Transformative technology has the potential to enable that evolution, to assist us in solving the world's problems from the inside out, which is especially interesting when you consider this case. Does anyone recognize who this is? Exactly. So this is Sir Roger Bannister, who on May 6, 1954, broke the 4-minute mile. This was extraordinary at the time. No one thought it could be done before he did it. But what is really amazing is that his record only lasted for 46 days before it too was broken. That's the fascinating part. This summer, I attended Singularity University. I was in the graduate studies program. And David Roberts, one of the faculty, puts it this way. He said, Bannister's accomplishment says something about us, the courage and freedom and the ability of any one of us to penetrate the barrier and bring the rest of the world along with us. So what this means is that whatever you go forth and build, you won't just help one individual. You will bring the entire world along. So what is the opportunity? We understand the relationship between the mind and meditation, the brain and the body, our daily experiences and our DNA better than we ever have before. And every year, greater insight becomes deeper, cheaper, and more democratized than ever. We also have exponential technologies like AI, big data, all of the things that Tim talked about. And though there is much we don't understand, the next several years will bring massive advances. So this is the Bridge of Sighs. It's the gateway to the Shahara village in the mountains of Yemen. This bridge was built in the early 17th century, and it was a technological feat of its time. It served as a footpath for the women to take cattle and grain to the village, and it's across a 300-foot drop. This was critical infrastructure for the people of that village. Certainly, it was possible to cross without it, but the bridge meant the difference between hours and days to cover the same ground. Similarly, lasting transformative revolutions require infrastructure, research, community, funding. There needs to be a place for discussing important questions, stimulating vital research, and exploring new ground, so that we can create new markets and see demand through can't-be-denied awesome products. We need to build a real ecosystem so that we can build the bridges of the future, and just like the Bridge of Sighs, help everyone to cross. So before I did this, I was a senior video game executive. I operated World of Warcraft China, like Mikey said, a truly massive business. So if you think about WoW is big and WoW China, that's really big, and you get it. I was living the life in Shanghai, and I was successful by all accounts. Then I went on a Vipassana retreat. So after 10 days of meditating, I was happier than I had ever been in my life, and I was unafraid. And I also became entirely focused on understanding. I wanted to know what happened to me, like what had happened, how had that happened that my entire worldview could change in 10 days. And then I wanted to share it with my friends, with the people that I love, because that's what you do when you find something awesome. And then, because I have a background in technology and scale, I wanted to go out and find out how we could scale that, how that feeling could be available to everyone. So I also, like Tim, grew up with a belief in science, that what can be measured can be mapped, and what can be mapped can be hacked, and what can be hacked can be scaled. And I witnessed with wow the power of technology to create connection and community. And I thought, well, why should the mind be any different? Then when I met Dr. Jeffrey Martin, we founded the Transformative Technology Lab to serve you, the community, the researchers, the makers, the inventors, the partners in developing technologies that help people mentally, emotionally, and physically. My highest intention with this talk is for you to see the lab as yours, as a tool to help you bring your desires to help people into reality and to join the barn raising that is happening here. So let me tell you what the lab does. The lab does 3 things to create infrastructure. 1, we do research into key areas: fundamental well-being and non-symbolic experience, biostimulation and feedback technology, augmented consciousness, interpersonal technology. In all of these areas, if we can use science to find the deep correlates of meditation, connection, self-awareness, then we can build technology that helps people access that. The second thing we do is build a central gathering point for our community by making a place for you. We want everyone to come together to stimulate trans-tech technologies. We've got an amazing board, industry and advisory board, and we have a state-of-the-art lab across the parking lot that we invite you to join. And when you join, the other thing that we do is we provide resources. So there's a list of many of the things that we do, but this includes experts, the number of wonderful mentors and advisors that we will have available for you. We're working on being able to provide funding, definitely go-to-market services, also study construction services, so you know how to create those studies to evaluate the efficacy of the things that you make. I mean, really, it's a state-of-the-art psych lab. So then the question is, what are you going to do? This lab is for you. Help build it, benefit from it, and use it to help the world. We need as many paths as humanly possible, and every single path is important because there are so many different types of people who will need so many different types of tools. But as people use what you make and those around them witness the shift, they're going to ask them, what are you doing? And demand will grow. And so the focus in this community is not on competition, but on growing the number of people who use this technology. There is a world in need out there, and there is a room full of extraordinarily intelligent and talented people in here. Go out and find the means for the eradication of suffering. There is no more noble an application for technology and science than this. So get ready, take action, join the lab, join the community, find co-founders, go out and start something. We're here, and I'm here to help you. Saturday, you're going to hear from some of the people who have already started. And they're here too because they understand the power of a barn raising. Humanity is extraordinary. We are creative, adaptive, and curious. Whatever we focus on, we accomplish, from breaking the 4-minute mile to landing a man on the moon, to deeply integrating technology in the process of transformation and human connection. Exponential technologies applied to the area of human growth and development will yield massive psychological benefits and interchange that will then free us to create the outer breakthroughs that will allow us to solve poverty, hunger, climate change, and more. The tools are within our grasp. and the moment is now. We are the ones who will see a widespread human awakening. There's a great sentiment by Larry Page from Google, which roughly states, are you working on something that will change the world? And if not, what are you doing? I'd say you are. Transformative technology will change the world, and we will change the world. Thank you.